The Ryzen 9 9950X3D is the fastest CPU in the entire market for both gaming and productivity. If you want to build the best PC around this Ryzen 9 processor, then you came to the right place. I'll show you 3 different PC builds around this CPU, and I will also explain to you what type of performance you are getting with each system. By the way, these PCs have a different price. The link to these PCs and also pre-built PCs with the Ryzen 9 9950X3D will be down below in the video description with the latest pricing and availability in your region. My name is Valentino. That being said, let's start. First, I will start by talking about the best value overall PC build with the Ryzen 9 9950X3D, which has the RX 9070 XT graphics card. This CPU and GPU combo will allow you to play any game that you want at 1440p ultra max settings, or if you want, you can also play at 4K with no issues, high to ultra settings as well in the most high demanding titles. And of course, since you get one of the fastest CPUs in the entire market for gaming in the Ryzen 9 9950X3D, you can also max out any monitor refresh rate if you want to play high CPU demanding games, especially esports titles, competitive settings. So if you want to play Fortnite or games like CS2 or Valorant, you can expect very high frame rates to the point where you can fit a 480Hz 1440p or 4K monitor, or of course a 540Hz 1080p one. And then when it comes to productivity work and content creation performance, the 9950X3D is one of the fastest CPUs as well for those tasks, so you are getting a very complete system, and it's also not the most expensive system out there. Now don't get me wrong, this system is expensive, it's not going to be cheap, but it's definitely not as expensive as other systems that I'm going to be mentioning throughout this video. Here you also get 2TB of SSD, 32GB of DDR5 memory, a liquid cooler for this Ryzen 9 processor, and a beautiful case with plenty of airflow in the Montech King 65 Pro, which is in my opinion one of the best value cases in the entire market. The total price for this system by the time of filming is about $2400 Again, it is expensive, but it's not as expensive as other PCs. Also, the 9950X3D was cheaper when I was making this list, and the price for this system was about $2200 instead of $24. So maybe when you're watching this, the price is going to be cheaper as well. So I highly recommend you checking those links down in the video description to check the latest pricing and availability. And also remember that I will leave pre-built PCs with the 9950X3D in case you don't want to build one yourself and you just want to buy a new PC, plug and play. Now the next system is quite more expensive, and in my opinion is the best high-end PC to build around the 9950X3D. Now it's not the most expensive one, I will cover the most expensive one in just a second, but it is one of the most expensive ones because you get the RTX 5080. The RTX 5080 is a beast of a 4K graphics card, so feel free to play any game that you want at 4K, whether it's a high demanding game or an easy to run shooter like Fortnite or Valorant. Any game that you want to play, you will be able to do so at 4K resolution ultra settings. It's also very powerful for ray tracing in case you want to play with ray tracing enabled, and of course you can also use it for 1440p if you want very high frame rates. In terms of the exact level of performance, well, it will depend on the game and the settings, but for you to have an idea, in high demanding titles, high to ultra settings, you can expect well over 90 FPS on average, which is a very high number considering these type of games. Here you get an upgraded 360 all-in-one liquid cooler, which is bigger than the one that we had before for the other system. You also get an upgraded motherboard with more premium features, and you get a better power supply with more wattage. The total price is definitely not cheap at around $3400 by the time of filming, but of course this is because you get the RTX 5080, which is a beast of a GPU, but right now is way more expensive than it should be. That's also why you will find pre-built PCs in the video description. Pre-built PCs at the moment are actually about the same price as PC build, which is insane. And then if you want the fastest PC with the 9950X3D, I recommend you getting the next one, which is the fastest and most expensive system out there. I mean, the 9950X3D is the fastest CPU in the market for both gaming and content creation at the same time, so the fastest overall CPU. So if you get the fastest GPU, you get the fastest performance in the market, and I'm talking about the RTX 5090. This is the most expensive GPU out there by far and will give you the highest FPS at any resolution. At 4K, you can expect well over 130 FPS on average, high to ultra settings in high demanding games, which is an insane number, and I would only recommend you buying a 4K monitor for this system. You can of course play at 1440p if you want to, but I do think that it's going to be an overkill And since you are spending this amount of money, I want you to have an expensive monitor as well. The 5090 is also the fastest graphics card for content creation performance and productivity work, so you are getting the fastest CPU and GPU combo for those tasks as well. Here you get 4 TB of SSD instead of 2 TB, so you get plenty of storage for gaming and content creation, and you get 64 gigs of RAM, which is going to be crucial for video editing. Here you get an upgraded case in the King 95 Pro instead of the 65 Pro, and you get more wattage in a 1200 watt power supply, which is going to be much needed for the RTX 5090. The price for this PC by the time of filming is about 6,400 USD. Very expensive, I know, but if you have this amount of money to spend on a PC and you want the fastest performance for both gaming and content creation, this is the system that I recommend you building. Now, some people do not want to wait until the 5090 drops in price, so I totally get that, and if that's you, then I do recommend you buying this system. But remember that maybe the price might be different by the time of watching, so I do recommend you checking the latest pricing and availability from the links down below. And last but not least, I have a bonus PC, which is the cheapest 9950 X3D gaming PC out there. If you want to build the cheapest PC around this CPU, I would recommend you getting the RX 9070 graphics card from AMD. Nothing less than this, because I do think that it doesn't make sense to go lower than this graphics card, and the total price for this system by the time of filming is going to be around 2,000 USD. I wouldn't recommend you going any lower than this, and yes, in my opinion, this is the cheapest PC that you can build around this CPU while getting an amazing level of gaming performance and productivity performance for 1440p and even 4K resolution. Also, let me know what you think about this new 9950 X3D and if you're going to buy one or not in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.